genetic mutant of a beef that I have in my cooler today. We're going to go take it out on the table and we're going to cut it. I have sent info and pictures to both the University of Minnesota and SDSU's meat science labs to see and confirm if I'm right. I got a bunch of meat heads on it. So I think I have a beef here that has mutant genetic stenosis, which is basically an encroachment of fat on a carcass more than the average animal. So the burger, we cut the front quarter last week, and the burger I got out of this animal was about a 60-40 ratio blend. So super, super fatty. Little backstory on this beef. This is a purebred red Angus. Carcass weight of, I think, 823. I lied, 806, so even smaller. This animal should be pulling this type of fat content. Watch for more pictures. Let's go get her cut. So here's the other front quarter that I was hoping it would only be on one side, but here we can look at the T-bone here. You can see the fat intertwinement on here. We can go down the spine. You can see it in here. And then what really telltaled me was when I look in here, you can see kind of on the belly flank cut of the front quarter, you can see that all this fat is intertwined, even on the outside skirt here, and then down to the brisket. You can really see it. So let's take this front quarter, let's get on the table and see what we got. Okay, so here's the follow-up on what I believe is a genetic stenosis, a muscle stenosis beef. So you can kind of see here how the muscle fibers go kind of kitty wampus on here that would make for really tough chewing. These are porterhouses, especially this one right here. See how that is? That would be really tough. Here's T-bones. You can see here as well, the fibers break down individually. This is a chuck roast. And I don't mind a lot of this, but when we get into this fat takeover, that's a crazy layout. That's almost a 50-50 fat to muscle ratio, if not a little more fat. Here's another chuck roast. You can see the fat muscle here. This is an arm. This is a dark cutter. So the backstory on this beef, unfortunately had a accident unloading. It launched itself out of the trailer and did a Superman and ended up tearing its suspensory muscles, which is basically a muscle that holds the hind legs together. So when they try to walk, they do the splits. So they can stand, they can get up, they just can't take a step without their hind legs tied together like hobble-wise and stabilized so they can take a step. You see it predominantly in Holsteins more than you do beef, but in this scenario, this beef jumped, basically the Superman, and the beef behind it jumped on top of it. So this is why it is a dark cutter. It was definitely a stressed beef, did have some damage in the hind end, but that doesn't explain the fat content we see in here. Is insane. Like, look at this. Check out this brisket. And you can kind of see how this could definitely be stress in this muscle here that makes it almost look like the fibers are, wound cotton string. That definitely has to do with lactic acid and the animal being stressed due to injury, but it is the fat content that is killing me on this. That makes no sense on an 808-pound animal. Okay, so we've decided to completely grind this genetic stenosis, muscle stenosis beef. I want to kind of show you, the steak actually looks really, really pretty. This is a stress, a darker cutter. This is a lighter side. This is your sirloin, and this is your tenderloin. So this would be a porterhouse steak. It looks pretty, but I kind of want to show you what we see on the butcher's end. So with genetic stenosis, you can really see the muscle and the fat tissues running opposite directions of each other, which is not going to be an easy thing to bite on. But I want to show you one side. I can completely get my hand through the tenderloin and destroy it. Super tender. This would be really great eating. This side, I can't get my hand through at all. It's tender, but you wouldn't be able to chew this. So this is the pro and the con of a muscle stenosis beef and an intringing fat beef on this. So we're going to go ahead and grind it, make it into hamburger, and unfortunately it's not going to be a loss for this farmer, but it's definitely not what they wanted to do with this prime animal. So we'll call this a lottery win from a meat processor side, a fun genetic freak carcass. Probably not the best outcome for my farmer, but pretty cool nonetheless.